With the economy looking up, Bollywood is hoping that this festive season will give it enough reasons to smile. But what are the lessons learned from the slowdown? To begin with, the $2.7 billion industry is making some structural changes in its value chain. But Acha Gopalakrishnan says this is just the beginning.
Hi, Harpreet Singh. Salesman?
Bollywood Salesman of the Year is hoping to rake in the moolah this festive season. And his timing couldn't have been better.
Pocket me rocket, pocket me rocket, pocket me.
Demand has picked up and consumers are queuing up at the box office, giving many hopes that what started out as a rather dull year will end with a big bang.
In addition to the occupancy rise, we also saw a slight increase in our average ticket prices by about 10% as well. So I think these two factors put together, plus a good flow of content, made for a good quarter 2 and quarter 3.
Ironically, it was just the reverse a few months ago, when producers and multiplex owners were at loggerheads about revenue sharing. Producers were demanding a 50% share in all film revenues irrespective of the cost of the film, and multiplex owners wanted to share just the profits of each project. What followed was a prolonged strike which cost the industry 300 crore rupees.
What was important was we were fighting, whatever we were fighting for was not for profits, we were fighting for justice.
The 2-month-long standoff ended with producers agreeing to share revenues.
Please sit down across the table and let's get fair rights for Friday nights for everyone across the board.
So Bollywood's new formula is that producers retain a 50% share for the first week and 42%, 35% and 30% for the second, third and fourth week. And these numbers change in the case of blockbusters, which collected more than 17.5 crore rupees. This new revenue sharing model has drawn much needed attention to the entertainment industry's value chain.
उस 50% में जो multiplex का है, they have to figure out how to do the business and make it affordable for themselves.
That's a difficult proposition because multiplexes are now caught between high real estate costs and lower revenues. Until 2 years ago, every multiplex chain was gung-ho about growth and promising to make inroads into slowdowns. But those plans have taken a hit.
People would love to go in a small town also to a multiplex in a better environment. But if the rentals are not reasonable, then we will not be able to sustain the operating cost there in small towns. So that's our concern in small towns.
We are the largest producer of movies in the world. We are the largest watchers of movie in the world. On an average, about 3.5 to 4 billion tickets are sold per year. And that will only go up if the content is good and the producers and distributors have got avenues or places to show their products in.
So who are the lead characters in Bollywood's value chain? Well, the producer takes the top spot with core responsibilities of pre and post-production, followed by distribution and marketing companies who in turn sell rights to exhibitors like local theatre operators, multiplex owners or TV stations. And last but not the least, those in the retail business like DVDs, videos, soundtracks and merchandise. And here's how the money trickles down across these players. Let's assume that a film makes 100 rupees. 33% of this is paid as entertainment tax to the state government. The balance is split between exhibitors and distributors. Of the 33.5 rupees going to the distributor's kitty, the producer gets around 23 rupees. Going by this basic math, it may seem like the producer makes a paltry sum. But that's not true. Production is still the most lucrative part of the value chain.
It's certainly a high risk, high rewards game, and it's a question of how best the producer de-risks himself, at the same time has a control over the entire value chain.
Producers also make the maximum money because they can pre-sell film rights to up to 35 different sources. A few years ago, domestic and international box office collections formed over 55% of the overall revenue. But now, Bollywood producers are adapting the Hollywood trend by exploring avenues like television and home video, which are gaining a firm footing in the industry. In the West, home video forms 45% of the total revenue, while in India it is a mere 7%. But that number is set to go up because producers have realized the potential of this segment and are now releasing their films on the small screen within weeks of its theatrical release. And that's not all. Satellite rights are now being sold on syndication model, where producers make money on the per play basis versus the fixed period model. For instance, a few months ago, UTV Motion Pictures pre-sold the rights of 18 of its unreleased films for 92 crore rupees to entertainment channels like Colors and NDTV Imagine.
Heads, you win.
We've subsold on a non-exclusive basis. We have syndicated our satellite rights for a fixed term, which therefore means that we can go out and sell these very same rights to a group of multiple broadcasters in addition to the ones we've already sold them to. And therefore you're being able to actually monetize your content as effectively as possible.
If movies release simultaneously on DTH, that could severely impact the cinema going audience, because people could get turned away from the theatres.
Essentially what the the producers and the channels tried to do was to really ride on that same publicity campaign and bring forward the television window, which normally is a 3 to 6 month window, to forward it to 6 to 7 weeks from the theatrical release.
Apart from satellite rights, producers have realized that there's money to be made in distribution too. And here, Bollywood is quite literally inspired by Hollywood, where major studios like Disney, MGM, Sony, Columbia, Paramount, Universal and Warner Brothers have end-to-end processes and are able to participate in the full value chain of filmmaking. From distribution to marketing, each part of this chain is going through some fundamental changes. Digital marketing spends, which were negligible last year, are now at 5% of the film's budget. For instance, Eros International promoted films like Kambak Ishq and Love Aajkal on the web by spending almost 20% of its marketing budget on digital promotion. In comparison, Hollywood spends 30% of its budget on digital promotion.
This is great. Online is very powerful in terms of medium because it allows people to connect, share very quickly. You create communities as part of that. So it's become really mainstream, to my sense, for a movie to actually promote itself to the community.
Bollywood's interest in getting a structured value chain is drawing attention from companies in Hollywood, which are scouting for Indian partners. For instance, Star Studios has a 2-film deal with director Vipul Shah. Warner Brothers has a 3-film and a 5-film deal with People Tree and Orca Studio respectively, with a total investment of 200 crore rupees. Walt Disney will produce 2 films with Yash Raj Films and 4 live-action films by Disney at an investment of 250 crore rupees. Steven Spielberg's DreamWorks struck a $500 million deal with Reliance Big Entertainment. Sony Pictures too has a 3-film deal with British Nandi Communications for an investment of 300 crore rupees. And much of the future depends on how fruitful these partnerships will be.